Hi everybody, it's me, bladecharge, and today I am going to be making Team RWBY from RWBY into fake characters and also giving them a fake Grandaughter spin in honor of the new RWBY manga, anime, why did I say manga for? Item that will be coming out. I pretty much had this video in the back burner, so I didn't really do it. I guess now's the time to motivate myself and do it. If you don't know what Fate is, I'll explain a little bit, but if you do, here's the timetables. You can skip right on over to the good part. And I'll explain Fate Granddaughter a bit. But anyway, Fate, the Fate IP I should say, is made by Type Moon. It's normally about 7 mages who compete in a Holy Grail war to obtain the Holy Grail, which is a wish-granting device. And in this Holy Grail war, these 7 masters will perform a summoning to summon a servant. These servants could be based off of real people like Da Vinci, or based on mythical heroes like King Arthur, aka the mascot, or even gods and goddesses like Ishtar. Of course, Type Moon does gender bend some of the characters from mythos in real life or of actual people like Da Vinci and King Arthur, both are female. They do that quite a bit, but not with everybody though. Servants are divided up into classes. So there is Saber, Archer, Lancer, Assassin, Caster, Rider, and Berserker. Those are the 7 main types. In Fate Grand Order, well, instead of a Holy Grail, well, you go off solving singularities throughout time to help preserve humanity and save it from destruction in the future. And they also handle lost belts, which is basically like a timeline that got separated from the main multiverse of the Fate series. And from Grand Order, we have extra classes, except Ruler. Over Ruler, though, real quick, they basically govern the Holy Grail War. The other classes are self-explanatory that I mentioned beforehand, like the Saber class. There was another class that Grand Order didn't introduce, and that's the Moon Cell, which comes from the Moon Cell Seraph, which has its own anime and everything, and it's complicated. I'm not getting into it. In the future, I will only give a servant Moon Cell if I feel like it would fit with them somehow. Avenger, which is a servant that wants vengeance for something, basically in a nutshell. Like a vigilante or a heroic spirit of vengeance sort of thing. There is a highly exclusive one, Shielder, which is basically a servant with a big shield, aka Mash, but there's also another supposed shielder. Also something known as a demi-servant, which is like a half-servant, but I don't want to get too spoily. There is the Fauna Spirit, which is basically like an alien to humanity, even though themselves may not technically be like an alien, so to say. They're like from like another dimension and such. Alter Ego is like the other side of someone's personality, like Alter Ego John d'Arc wants revenge against France for what they did to her. And there's a new class, Pretender, which is basically like they trick evildoers and such to do good deeds and whatnot, sort of thing. Kind of like Robin Hood, which they should give Robin Hood Pretender, like give him like an event or something where he's a Pretender class. There are Grand class servants, which are basically made to counteract the beast servants, which are basically based off the 7 deadly sins, so to say. There are noble phantasms, which is a servant's ultimate move. There are noble phantasms, which are the servant's ultimate move, like for King Arthur or Teria. Her noble phantasm is Excalibur. Launches this massive beam of light from the blade, aka her sword Excalibur. In the game, each servant has abilities and 3 skills that they can use. Also, servants can be like different types of servants. Like one servant could be all about power, which are like buster servants. Another one could be about arts, an art servant, which basically focuses on getting their MP gauge all the way to 100% to use another phantasm, or crit based servants who focus on getting crit stars, so like the critical damage. There's a bunch of other variations and such that may come up later in the video. Now let's get Team RWBY. Wow, did not expect that to last so long. Okay, well, Now time to determine what type of servant each RWBY character on Team RWBY will be. So we're gonna start off with RWBY. Okay, so RWBY becomes a servant one way or another. Okay. So her weapons, Crescent Rose. It's a scythe/sniper rifle. The only other scythe weirdo that I know of is Little Medusa, and she's a lancer. Scythes would basically be like a lance type weapon because they have long range in terms of melee combat, and they're always two-handed. Even though Crescent Rose does have sniper rifle part of it, RWBY mostly uses it as a melee weapon. So with that being said, she should be a lancer. She would just have some range advantage with the sniper rifle part of her weapon. It can actually be a good use too and make the enemy think that she's an archer, because lancers have advantage against an archer, and if they think that RWBY's an archer, then they're just in a lancer at her, because lancers have advantage on archers. And provided it's not a standard Holy Grail war, because if it was, then she'll be the only lancer there. Good work though. She would be a speed-based servant, obviously. Be able to do what she normally does in the show, of course. And that would be helpful. Be able to come to her master in a quick enough time to help protect them. Her noble phantasm will easily be her silver eyes. And I can't tell if the silver eyes are meant to stone, petrify the enemies, or like vaporize them. I don't really know. Rooster Teeth isn't really clear on that. So I guess we'll go with petrifying them with a slim chance of vaporizing them. So basically a death chance of an instant kill, which can work in the fake Grand Order part of her that we're going to go into right now. Okay, so abilities and skill. Abilities are passive. We could just give her a... For 3 passive abilities, I'm just going to give her 3 because I think that's what Gold Star Summons normally have is 3. They're pretty basic. We could say that she gets some extra crit stars and her critical hits get a boost in damage. And as the last one, and for her crit card attack, they can do a little bit more damage. Her command attack would be 3 critical cards, 1 buster card, and 1 arc card. Again, critical cards help gain crit stars, buster card is there for pure damage, and arts cards are there to help raise your MP gauge, although critical stars do that too, but the arts cards are better for that. Kind of give her like a Jack-like feel, a Jack the Ripper type feel. So at any rate, her first ability will be an evade ability that gives her a small drop of critical stars. I think that's okay, nothing too overpowered. Her second ability would boost the effectiveness of her crit cards, and it will also help give her a mental buff for 3 turns. The mental boost ability will give her death chance in her noble phantasm a higher chance to inflict death onto enemy units. And her noble phantasm is going to be, of course, AoE. Because the range of it is so wide, it's going to be anti-army, because I think it could work like that. Of course, I do want her noble phantasm to do some amount of damage as well. And yes, everybody, I know Silver Eyes only works on the Grim, but she's a servant now, so I think we can make an exception. I'm not really going to worry about the stats. If you guys actually want me to give everybody stats, I'll just do it at the end of Team Juniper's video, probably. And I'll just be like, hey guys, remember when I didn't do RWBY stats yet? I gave it to Team Juniper in this video. Well, here are the stats now. Something like that. Alright, time for the ice cream. White Schnee, and we are gonna make her a caster class. To anybody's surprise, is anybody surprised by this? No? Okay. But if you are surprised, just remember, and I may butcher the name, but Zhongzing Senzing is also a caster, the Buddhist priest, and she uses melee combat with a palm, so I don't think White's being a caster with a sword is really gonna be anything out of the blue or an exception. Now, Weiss mainly uses dust and such, right? Well, as a servant and as the caster class, I'm gonna make it possible for her to create dust, which I believe would make sense. She would retain her glyphs, of course, easily, and for her noble phantasm, it would be based off of summoning her knight. Also, if she defeated an enemy servant, she could summon an aura version of the servant that she defeated. Like, let's say if she somehow defeated a saber, she'll be able to use a summoning glyph to make a aura manifestation of that servant. They won't be able to use their noble phantasm, but they'll still probably contain all of their combat prowess. I don't know what other limits to put on the summons that get summoned via her noble phantasm of her summoning glyph, but if you would like to put any restrictions of your own, feel free to leave a comment down below. Also, if you do like this video, make sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell so you know when I live stream or upload videos. Alright, so fate time, fake Granola time I mean. So for Weiss, she is clearly gonna be an arts caster based type of servant. Her passive abilities would mostly focus on her MP cards getting more damage and a boost in how much MP she normally would get from an MP card. An MP card because we are going to try to MP loop with her. The third one can be a buster card damage increase. Yes, I know she's arts, but still. Now with RWBY, I didn't really know what to call her skills or what to reference them by besides her skills and speed and such. But with Weiss, I kinda do. So Weiss's speed glyph could help her get to her MP faster, so like an MP boost, and maybe it can be for like the whole entire party because I think she was able to use that on multiple people. Also, crit stars can do more damage because it's the time dilation, the speed one. That enclosed crystal thingy that Weiss makes in Volume 2 to help protect her and Team RWBY. Well, I'm going to make that an invincible buff, and I am going to also give it a defense boost to the party in general. Her third one, I believe it should be a party MP increase and damage increase so that they can get off their MPs faster and they can do more damage with their MP cards so they don't have to worry too much about not doing that much damage. Noble Phantasm is clearly going to be her summoning her knight, and it's going to be a single target. Before it attacks, the party gets an attack boost for 3 turns, and then it's just going to go ham and sam on the enemy target. If you don't like the attack boost, then we can make it gain MP strength for the whole entire party for maybe like the rest of the turn or 2 or 3 turns. Maybe it could be classified as anti-servant, maybe just anti-personnel, I'm not too sure. But anyways, up next is everybody's favorite cat girl, Belladonna. Because how Blake tends to be like stealthy and such and tries to use her clones to take the blows for her and everything, I don't think she'll be most suited to be Saber. I think she'll be more suited to be an assassin type. She is very flexible, very nimble, so I think it suits her. Besides greatly improving her physical capabilities, I don't know if there's anything else special we could do about Blake being a servant. It's mostly up to RT and how they want to improve her combat capabilities and such. I mean, granted, being an assassin does give her some advantages, but still. So for Blake's semblance, I think we can't really make it a noble phantasm. That would be more like on the lines of her abilities. I think her noble phantasm would include her using the ribbon of Gambled Shroud and like going in for like a sweeping AoE attack against multiple opponents. Or something like that, like some sort of cool looking attack against multiple targets as she goes through them. If you guys got any better ideas, let me know, cause I'm kinda stumped on this one. I'll be interested to know. So Grand Order time, her passive skill, I think she'll take damage from less bullets cause she can deflect them, so maybe like crit star drop passive skill increase. because she is going to be a speed-based servant like RWBY is, so just 3 critical stars, there you go, and the usual rest. Okay, her active abilities, her Shadow Clone will give her 1/3 evade easy with a defense boost for 3 turns. I also think that her Ice Dust Clone version will give her another defensive increase with a critical star drop. And her third one can be a pure speed increase and crit star increase, like RWBY. However, she gets to choose who to use it on, making her a bit more supportive. Both Phantasm, as I stated earlier, I think will be best suited for multiple targets and AoE. Maybe like an anti-group attack, something like that. But when she does that, she gets to ignore everybody else who has evade on, meaning even if they have evade, she'll still deal damage to them in her AoE attack. If that felt like a bit lackluster to you, well, that's mostly my fault. But up next won't be. Why? Because it's Yang Shane Long! Okay. Alright, I'll sit down now. So, Yang, to me, is a berserker. She's a berserker class because of her attitude. Also, don't get berserker class confused with somebody like Hercules. Just because she's berserker class, that doesn't mean like, I'm angry. No. There's different types of madness that berserkers have. There's like high ones like Hercules, and there's like a lowish one like, I think like Nightingale? And Yang's attitude and her fighting style, I believe it would mostly be suited for berserkers. I mean, hey, she has advantage against everything except foreigners and vice versa. I think the madness enhancement or the berserker madness would actually make Yang even more powerful than what she normally would be in any other class. Basically, she'll just do a lot of damage and punch you really hard and such. She would also deal the most damage normally amongst Team RWBY. You know, ignoring any type of boost and whatnot. Her noble Phantasm, easy. Just make her go Super Saiyan and she does a massive barrage of punches and boom, there you go. Her noble Phantasm, and her last attack sends the opponent flying. Yes, it is going to be single target. Alright, Grand Order time. Let's go with some passive abilities. Obviously, she gets a Buster Card damage increase. She also ignores some of the enemy's defense a little bit. And because how effective she is in handling ninja-like enemies or enemies in RWBY that would be considered to be the assassin class, she takes less damage from them. Nia would be the exception. Okay, so active ability times. First one is a bit of a doozy. So she gains a good chunk of a Buster Card effectiveness, meaning does more damage on her, and the rest of the team gets a boost in attack. Both of them last 3 turns. Also, she does not get the party attack boost. To make it a little bit more balanced, second, I am going to actually give her an evade, and it's going to help her. It will help raise up her MP a bit to help her get her MP faster. And that one pose where she puts both of her, where she puts her gauntlets together and does that explosion effect, that active skill will make all of her Buster Cards give her MP. So basically her Buster Cards will act as her MP cards, giving her MP gain whenever she uses them to hit the enemy. You know how it is. Her noble Phantasm, besides doing what I said earlier, I believe it would also make her gain a Buster Card increase as well. So that's like another boost on top of that. That one would definitely be anti-7. I think anti-7 is a thing. So that is all of the RWBY characters as Fate 7s and as characters in the Fate games. Wow. This video actually took longer than I thought, to be honest with you. And contrary to what I said earlier, I am going to be doing Team Juniper because they're also in the new upcoming RWBY Icedom anime, so there is that. So I want to thank you all for coming to this video and watching it. If you do like the video, hit the like button on how you thought how I handled the RWBY goals. Did I do them well? Did I do them okay? Did I do them horribly? And such, you let me know. I appreciate it. And make sure to hit the notification button so you know when I do the Juniper one. And I'll see you guys
next time. Bye!